All right, welcome back, everybody. Today, the first winning trade since blowing my account. Slowly getting things back up in to, slowly getting back to where I was. And I'm not like I'm pretty confident in my ability to trade. Like I said in the last video, I still lost the first trade that I took after reopening the account, and today I was able to take a winning trade. But regardless of the piano, like I know how to trade. I know the trades and the things that I should be looking for. It all, like I said, I'm not gonna keep repeating it, but it just comes down to me being able to take a loss and risk managing. When I lost my first trade on this new account, walked away today, come back, take a winning trade. And so hopefully this week, we're able to make some progress on it. But yeah, and then I appreciate you guys for like the conversation and the advice in the last video. Honestly, it helps a bunch. And I know some people reached out to me and said they were going through the same thing. And so that's why I make those videos, man, right? Like documenting and then also sharing with you guys and hopefully so people like that who aren't posting about it and are just like struggling through it on their own or by themselves maybe have somebody else who they can maybe talk to, right? So today's trade recap I thought wasn't a bad trade at all. The only thing I had a few pointers on maybe what I could have done better, but today's bias wasn't correct, right? Um, but regardless of that, I'll tell you I like the trade was able to play out. So coming into the day, it's kind of hard to be it's kind of hard to be bearish, especially today when we had a bullish PD array being respected overnight or not overnight yesterday, and it was being respected when coming into New York session. And when you have a higher time frame PD array like a 4 hour for that gap order block or like even a 1 hour, um, most most of the times when we're also in like a bullish trend here, it's gonna get respected. But at the same time, we're basically at all time high, so there's no like structure. There's nothing really to target outside of this little range. So it's a bit of a hard, like a weird place to trade. This is the first time for me to trade at all time high, so it was a little bit weird for me. But I'll just go by. I was going by what the market was telling me. Every single time I try to make up my own narrative, like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? I get it wrong. So the market was telling me when I was coming in, 4 hour for the 6 a.m. candle, 4 hours kind of, it was being respected. It wasn't completely disrespecting. It wasn't down here at all. It was around this area, this 4 hour candle. And so this telling me for now it's being respected. Now we also had news at 10 a.m. And so my plan was to wait for the 10 a.m. candle to form because we also have news there, and then we would, officially see where this 4 hour candle will close. So this is where I guess my mistake comes in. Aside from the bias being wrong, I didn't really wait for the 4 hour candle to close because I had a setup. However, I had a really confident setup. I thought a confident setup before the 4 hour closed. And that setup came here. So 4 hour, I was bullish, like I said, because I thought it was respecting this fair value gap. And then we have a market maker's buy model. So right now, my bias is bullish. Market maker buy model aligns with my bias. Um, and so I'm looking for longs here. And this another thing is here. I thought we had a pretty good accumulation, manipulation, distribution setup available. We also have a lot of buy side liquidity available, London highs, Asia highs, previous day highs. We have our accumulation here. All right, let me just highlight accumulation phase here, right? And so all you have to do really is what I was doing is just grabbing context for what the market wants to do on a higher time frame. And so I grabbed context from the market makers model here. I'm grabbing context from this AMD, from this AMD accumulation, manipulation, and then I want distribution here to the upside, which we didn't get, right? Because my bias was wrong, which is okay. And so here is where I'm looking for longs and some lower time frame confirmation now, right? So I have the context, I have market maker buy model, I have a higher time frame PD rate being currently respected. I have that accumulation. Oh, and then we have an external SMT here. Uh, and then now I'm looking for, sort of, I'm done. I'm getting more. I'm going into smaller time frames step by step, right? I'm going top down analysis. So higher time frame context, I got my bias down. Lower time frame on the 15 minute, we inverse this 15 minute for I gap, right? We inverse this, and yeah, I know we come back down here, but we're like that at what is it, like 9:30 a.m. But if you zoom in, it makes a little bit more sense for this in terms of this wick. In terms of this wick, so we inverse that 15 minute for value gap, and then on the 5 minute as well. I'm pretty sure we inverse a 5 minute as well. Yeah, we inverse a 5 minute here, and I know you guys are probably looking at this candle like, okay, well we kind of disrespect that inverse for value gap because this body closes down here. Well, this is where I zoom into the 1 minute. It's a little crazy here, but if you kind of just simplify it down and dumb it down and have your bias in context, right? Have remember what your bias is, even if it's wrong, right? Like, because today my bias could have been right and I would have printed, but have your bias in mind and it makes it a lot easier to see setup. So my bias is bullish, right? And I have that 15-minute fair value gap inversed. And so on the 1 minute, all this is a stop hunt. It's a stop out for buyers, takes out sell side liquidity, and then what it also does is put in an internal SMT. So in addition to an external SMT and internal SMT, and this just takes out sell side liquidity at what time is that? At 9:42, so or 9:43, so 2 minutes before the macro. Takes it out, creates a fair value gap here, which gets inverse. So that's perfect. I've seen this happen a bunch at the start of reversals where we get a stop hunt, an SMT at the point of reversal, and then we inverse a fair value gap to confirm that we're going to start reversing, right? And then in addition to all this internal lower time frame confluence, my higher time frame confluence, like I said, is that market maker buy model. We have a bunch of buy side liquidity available. We're in, the strongest bullish, like we're basically at all time highs. Um, we're in a 4-hour bullish PD array, and then like I said, we also have that potential AMD setup. So I have a lot, like I keep repeating this, but I have a lot of higher time frame context, and then dumb it down into internal confluences, which allow me to see a setup. And so I take it as soon as this gets in. I don't take it when this gets in because I need to see a little bit more, right? We get another fair value gap here that gets inversed again, and then we tap into this fair value gap, and then that's when I enter. I didn't really get a good fill, but I mean, it's fine. I got the fill either way. And then I enter, and then my targets were at this high, just a little bit above this high, right before that -1 standard deviation mark. Um, and I took partials. I took 5 off here. I went for 15 cons, micros. Like I said, evals, I'm gonna size heavy. Probably should have sized down a little bit considering that news, or not sized down, or maybe trailed my stop considering that news was coming out at 10, and then price action isn't, there's not too much of A plus setups near all time highs is what I've heard because there's no external structure on what price is really looking for. You can look at it 2 different ways, honestly, but yeah, either way, took partials here, moved stops to break even, and then I got stumped out there. So that was a trade I took for today. I didn't think it was a terrible trade. I had like everything for me today lined up, and that's why I took the trade. Uh, 15-minute told me I was bullish. 4 hour told me I was bullish. At that point, obviously we just dumped in price. I'm gonna see what price does now. Maybe we just have this daily fair value gap. I wouldn't be surprised if Tuesday or if Monday was we make our weekly low and we just buy up. But we'll see if it inverses this daily fair value gap. We'll see what happens. But that was a trade I took for today. Um, and although it was a break even trade, we were able to get out of this Monday up a little bit, like because the price action was terrible. Like it was a lot of consolidation until we just dropped, but we were able to take a little bit out of the day. Tomorrow if we get a setup, we'll take a trade. If we win it, we win it. If we lose, we walk away. That's what I've been doing the past 3-4 days since opening this new account. And yeah, we'll all together pass our funded, get our payouts this year, scale 5K, 10K, whatever, right? But also don't dedicate your entire days just sitting on the charts. Like I also like I post like a few videos on not just trading but sales as well, and just have something else going for you, as whether you're working a job or just doing something else like a different business or a side hustle. Like what I've seen help the most, because I just boomed my account like 3 days ago, but looking back on it, like looking at the progress that I've made, I've definitely become a better trader. It's just psychological part that I'm working on right now, and the way I became a better trader, in my opinion, for the biggest thing was taking time off the charts and having something else, having a different type of income or cash flow flowing in. So it's not so much and too much pressure on me to make money quick. uh, and so yeah, right now I'm just trading. I'm confident in my ability to trade. All I have to do is risk manage, dead ass. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something from the trade recap, and I'll see you guys in the next video.